like to move under rule number 77 of Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the AP Legislative Assembly, intend to move the following resolution: the Visakhapatnam Steel Plant.
Resolution. మీరు చదివేయండి.
Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited, the corporate entity of Visakhapatnam Steel Plant, is a Navratna company under the Ministry of Steel, Government of India. It's the largest public sector industrial unit in the state, creating employment opportunities for close to around 20,000 people, directly and many other indirect employment opportunities in the city of Visakhapatnam. It is India's first shore-based integrated steel plant and a producer of long steel products catering to the requirements of the construction, infrastructure, manufacturing, and the automobile sectors. This plant was realized only after many sacrifices by the people of the state of Andhra Pradesh. The people rallied for the Visakhapatnam steel plant, and in the process, 32 people have laid down their lives. On the 17th April 1970, the then Prime Minister of India announced the government's decision to establish a steel plant at Visakhapatnam, culminating the decade-long public agitation, Vishakha Ukku, Andhrula Hakku, in the undivided Andhra Pradesh. A new company, Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited, was formed on 18th February 1982. The Visakhapatnam steel plant was separated from SAIL, and RINL was made the corporate entity of Visakhapatnam steel plant in April 1982. The RINL has also two subsidiaries in Orissa Mineral Development Corporation and Bisra Stone Line Company. The OMDC has 6 iron ore mines in Orissa but yet to commence productions. Speaker sir, it's a fact that the plant has had a good performance between 2002 and 2015, earning profits and possessing and positive net worth. The plant has pragmatically turned around in 2002 after being reported to BIFR as a sick company. The company has around 19,700 acres of land currently, and the valuation of these lands alone could exceed 1 lakh crores due to the location of the plant in the urban area and rapidly expanding urban sprawl. The reasons for poor financial health is one of the major structural issues that also leads to high cost of production in the absence of captive buying, thereby affecting the profitability. It has to buy the iron ore at a market price from NMDC, which is a lot higher than the market price. Whereas the companies with captive mines enjoy a cost advantage owing to availability of raw material at low cost. RINL currently has a capacity of 7.3 million tons and has taken up plant modernization and capacity expansion recently, which made the plant to borrow loans from the banks to take up this expansion. Owing to the unfavorable steel cycle globally, the company was making losses since 2014 and 15 and was finding it to service the debt. Current debt is standing around 22,000 crores. The company's accumulated losses as of now is about 10,000 crores. And the borrowings, the cost of the borrowings of this company stands at 14% interest rate. The issue of strategic disinvestment, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, Government of India, in its meeting held on 27th January 2021, accorded in principle approval for 100% strategic disinvestment of Government of India's shareholding in RINL, along with the RINL stakes in subsidiaries and joint ventures through strategic disinvestment by way of privatization. Our Honorable Chief Minister addressed the Honorable Prime Minister on 6th February 2021 and again on 9th March 2021, suggesting various measures to turn around the steel plant and insisting to reconsider the decision of the disinvestment of RINL. Our Honorable CM has been very kind in according measures, the following measures that could be taken up by reinvitalizing this plant. One of the conditions was, one of the advised measures that the Honorable Prime CM had accorded was continuing operations to achieve turnaround. Globally, the steel cycle is demonstrating upward trend. It is borne in mind that in today's era, we have to incur a capital expenditure of close to 30,000 crores to 35,000 crores to construct a steel plant of 7 metric tons per annum capacity. RINL has achieved highest ever capacity utilization of 6.3 million tons per annum against the installed capacity of 7.3 million tons per annum from December 2020 and started making a monthly profit of close to 200 crores. Continuing this performance for a further period of 2 years will help the financial situation immensely. RINL has also achieved a turnover of 18,000 crores in the financial year 2020 and 2021 and is well endowed with high capacity to capture the upside in the current steel cycle. In the last 4 months, the company has registered a net profit of 740 crores. The second measure that the Honorable Chief Minister has put forward is captive iron ore mines to reduce the input costs. Currently, RINL is purchasing iron ore from NMDC Bailadilla mines at market price. This has put the RINL at a cost disadvantage of almost close to 5,260 rupees per metric ton of steel. Many of its competitors have captive mines for more than 60% of their own requirement and buy only the rest from the NMDC. Even SAIL has captive mines with reserves of iron ore sufficient for 200 years. This excess cost of iron ore has put cost implication of more than 3,472 crores for the RINL. It is essential to create a level playing field for all the players, and hence allotment of captive mines for RINL will help tide over this cost disadvantage. Orissa is blessed with iron ore, and allotting the captive mine in Orissa state will go a long way in reviving this plant. Further construction of slurry pipeline would also lead to a reduction in the transportation cost. The third point put forward by our Honorable Chief Minister is a financial restructuring. The short-term loans along with the long-term loans could be converted into equity, taking off repayment pressures and interest burden. The high cost of debt, which is actually standing at 22,000 crores, is being serviced at a high interest rate of 14%. Conversion of these loans into equity by the banks so as to remove the interest burden totally and listing the entity on the stock market exchange gives the banks the exit option to the stock exchange route, and through general public may also be explored. These measures could ease the burden of debt servicing as the company would be debt-free and consequently the company would earn profits, thereby improving the financial sustainability. The fourth point put forward by our Honorable Chief Minister is monetizing land to make the company cash rich. RINL is bestowed almost close to about 7,000 acres of unutilized lands. Another measure that the Government of India can take up is to monetize these lands by way of plotting and sale by RINL itself. And the amounts realized will make the company cash rich, thereby increasing the valuation of the company. The state government would provide all necessary permissions for the land use conversions and the municipal approvals to facilitate this intervention. A request was made to the Prime Minister for personal audience by the Chief Minister to explain all these facts in person. Also, it is requested to give an opportunity to lead an all-party delegation along with the trade union leaders under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister. Now, therefore, a resolution is moved today in the House against the proposal of Government of India, that is 100% disinvestment of RINL through privatization to protect the interests of the people of Andhra Pradesh. So, before I conclude, I would also like to say that the RINL plant, has gone a long way in supporting the state's supply of the LMO during the dire state needs in the COVID times. That was one of the notable aspects that we have noticed in this plant. So, the resolution that I would like to make before this House, sir. So therefore, the House unanimously resolves to oppose the decision of the Government of India on a 100% strategic disinvestment of Government of India's shareholding in the Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited, Visakhapatnam, along with the management control by way of privatization, and also resolved to request the Government of India to consider the measures suggested by the Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh in his letter dated 6th February 2021 and 9th March 2021 to make the RINL profitable and remain the pride of Telugu people and the state of Andhra Pradesh. Thank you.
Government resolution